This is David Lindsay from Phantom Lake Education. And today I'm going to share with you the 4 steps towards mastery. And you might be thinking, but David, aren't people just born inherently brilliant? Aren't there people that can just run faster than people? They can jump high, they can play musical instruments so much better, and they're just born fantastic. And yes, there are the few savants. There are the rare occasions of people that can do things, artistry, music, they can do it just without the training. But they're so few and far between. But what most people do is they spend countless hours in the shadows, in the darkness, behind the scenes, honing and mastering their skills before it goes out and they become that overnight success. So the steps that we're going to go through, I'm going to use my example from fighting and from football. But it goes across to every element in life. Any element you want to improve, you'll go through these 4 steps. And the first one is unconscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence. Basically, this is you don't know what you don't know. When I was playing rugby league, I was a big, strong, tough meathead. I was a maddox. And I was tough. And I thought I could go in and throw down with the best of them. But I didn't know that there was so much skill, so much timing, so much more to it than just being strong and fit and tough. But there's a lot of technique that goes into it. Seeing the movements. So I had no idea. I was unconscious that I was incompetent with it. And you can take that to anything. You might be able to play the guitar, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be able to play the flute. You don't know how bad you are because you don't know what you don't know. And then that takes you to the second step, which is it's conscious incompetence. So once you go to a lesson of fighting and you go and you try and spar with people that have been doing it for years, all of a sudden you get this stark realization that all of a sudden, man, I'm aware that I'm no good. I'm aware that I need to spend more time honing my skills. And unfortunately, this is a step where many people, it just is overwhelming for them. So they pull out there. But you have to keep trudging along. You have to keep putting in the hard work, the hours upon hours upon hours of blood, sweat and tears. So then all of a sudden, you go into the conscious competence. So now you're in the process of getting better. All of a sudden, you start noticing improvements. It's all a thought process, so you have to concentrate on where the blocks are coming from. On is everything correct for the punch? Is everything correct for the kick? For the wrestle takedown? But now you're well on the way to mastery. And each of these steps will take a different amount of time per person, per individual. But then given enough time, given enough effort, dedication, and fine and finessing this craft, you'll eventually get to the last step, which is unconscious competence. And this is where you tend to get into the flow. You don't have to be consciously thinking about it to do it. You see a punch coming and instead of having to think to block or think to slip, your body just reacts. And that's where people say that you get into the flow. Once you spend hours and hours of being unconsciously incompetent, you turn up, you put in the effort. Then all of a sudden you become aware that you do know what you don't know. And you do know what you can't do. Then you go across and you start knowing, you start getting it, you start getting the feel of it. With a guitar, you can start playing a song. But you can't yet go freestyle with it. And then you spend hours here. You spend weeks and weeks and months here. You spend months and years at the conscious competence until it becomes muscle memory or myelin memory. You do the deep practice. You practice intensely. and you practice on purpose. And then you get the mastery of unconscious competence. And this is where in martial arts, where you get to the black belt and beyond. And as in martial arts, you have to be able to step back and go back and remember what it was like in the unconscious incompetent stage and the conscious incompetence. But that's the 4 steps towards mastery. And you can take this, as I said, to anything. I use martial arts because that's my background. I do fighting, I played football, I'm a coach, I'm a trainer, and I'm an athlete. But you can also use it for speaking as well. I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought I'd be able to get there and just talk to people off the cuff. But when you try and do that and you try and give value, it gets ripped out. Your nerves start getting there and you just don't know how to do it. And then you're aware. It may only be one time, but you become very quickly aware that you can't do it. You can't get up there and do impromptu, not first off anyway. And then you practice, you hone your skill, you craft it, you do it again and again. You fail, you improve, you fail, you improve, you get better. And you go to the conscious competence. You spend hours and hours on stage. You get up and you talk. You practice it. You talk by yourself. You talk, you use the slides, you use all of these different tools to get to eventually the unconscious competence. And that's what we all want to strive to get to. I hope that you've got some value from this, the 4 steps towards mastery. To find out more about our 8-week online course, where we go into creating the habits for you to help master any element that you want in life, feel free to click in the link below. This is David Lindsay from Phantom Leap Education. Discover your possibilities.